Having never played Calamity before, first things was pulling up the boss checklist and just seeing what I was in for, and there was a lot. I right clicked on my goodie bag and honestly it gave me loot that was too good for early game. I'm not above myself to start using it though, I just thought it was a bit unnecessary. Started getting some cactus armor and it was starting to get dark, so I built myself a little house and I managed to make this little one-way trap thing, which was an accident but did end up utilising to its fullest. First things on my mind was the elevator. Just for convenience sake, I whacked on some YouTube and I just mined straight down for about an hour, which was as exciting as you guys can imagine. I ate too many heart crystals while I was down there and thought best to prepare my boss arena in case Cthulhu accidentally spawns. And here I thought I'd include a clip of me getting absolutely molested by some fish. I needed 2 diamonds for magic storage, so I was using the extractionator and silt to just try and get a diamond, but it was a tedious process, took a very long time. I included here my first death, what a way to go. I did eventually get to hell though, so wasn't all for nothing, and there'll be plenty more deaths to play through. I ran to the right side of my world to kind of just explore, see if I could get any surface chests, where I found myself completely overwhelmed by the first mob I came across in the sulfuric seas. So I then proceeded to take on my first boss, the Grand Thunderbird, with these items here on screen. Ultimately, wasn't too difficult, kept my range at the start, just kind of feeling out the damage. I swiftly figured out that I could maximize damage by just swinging my melee weapon and attacking him when he charges you like that. And just like that, guys, first boss is down. I spent some time just sadly AFK in my base, wondering how I'm going to deal with all these items I've got. I didn't want to make any more progression without my magic storage system. So after upgrading my armor, I believe I went back into the mines and kept silt mining for the occasional diamond that you get for it. No, actually, I started decorating my room, my house, my base. I spent a bit more time in this playthrough making my base look nice. I don't know, I just thought I'd be spending a lot of time in this world, best make an effort. And if you guys are hating on my build, just know my last few playthroughs have been horrendous. I think I did well this time. So after fighting that boss again, I accidentally found a desert temple. I did get one of the best pre-hard mode weapons, accessories, which is an insane double jump. Unfortunately though, it was one of the worst desert temples I've ever seen it in Terraria.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Yeah, but I still took the opportunity to just keep looting up the area, where I found some Dune Rider boots. Again, basically just means I've got 2 of the best movement items in pre-hard mode, and I was feeling strong. The only thing I wasn't strong in is the sense that my storage was rubbish, and I can't do anything until I get my magic storage. So I kept building on the house, kept mining for silt, and was feeling a little worse for wear, to be fair. Oh, I took some time out of this day to build a cheese arena for any of the wave, Old One's army, Goblin army. You can't use that for the Old One's army. And then made a lake under my house by cheating in some water. You can tell here I'm really struggling for things to do. I decided best play was probably get some Spelunker potions and go mining, where I actually bumped into the second new biome of this world, the Sunken Sea or something like that, and it was back to extracting. And extracting and mining, extracting and mining, extracting and mining, and I can't lie team, that was me, over and over and over. While doing this though, I managed to find this structure underground by the frost biome. I had no idea what it was, it looked incredibly scary and I wanted no part of it, so I expertly just went around the outside of it and went back to extracting silt. One good thing about this method is that I'll get lots of other gems and goodies. Back into mining though, looking for more silt. It's just back and forth with this bloody extractor. However, it does pay off, and I can start making my storage base, which I just made a floating circle. If you guys would like some advice here, it is don't make circles. If you don't know how to build, don't make circle structures in Terraria. It's no fun, and I spent way too long doing it. Seeing as I was finally done with magic storage, I went on to tackle my first boss, which was the torch god. So I made a bit of space, using a wall, I put all of the torches in one spot in the bottom left corner, and I was able to quite easily dodge these projectiles that were flying at me. This is genuinely quite a challenging boss, but I had sand in the bottle and good movement speed, so it was less difficult than normal when I attempt it. Seeing as it was the magic storage holding me back, the next thing was just a bit of a boss grind. So King Slime was up next, using the bow to start with, but basically realizing I can face tank quite efficiently, I saw it off with my melee weapon, and we were done with the third boss of the run. So going strong. Ran straight into the jungle, same accessories. Actually, I believe I've added a shield to my accessories. I went for the Desert Scourge, and it just so happened that I had my platform or my boss arena at just the perfect height that I was able to donk it in the face without it really being able to do much. So yeah, this one actually turned out to be quite a good fight for me. So I drank some Gills potions and went into the new biome, aka the Sunken Seas, and the boss randomly spawned. I was hoping this would happen, and I was ready for it. Took me a little bit longer than I was expecting to find. It's kind of transparent and it blends into the background, but with my sword I'm absolutely able to chunk it. Not really able to dodge its attack. It's one attack, but it's also not very strong, so able just to face tank. The NPC came out and it didn't really drop anything good. However, I did get a new sword from that. It's a melee weapon that has a projectile attack, which was super good. I've included a clip here of me adding the healer, the nurse, to that bit of the base. I included that because it actually became clutch. Me kind of not really thinking about it and putting the healer there actually saved me multiple times this run, so thought I'd best include the clip. And as I said, using my new weapon, I went for Eye of Cthulhu. So using my Dune Rider boots, my sand in the bottle, and shield, I was pretty easily able to move out of the Eye of Cthulhu's way. So obviously it drops the Shield of Cthulhu, which I believe would be my next thing equipped. I spent some time making more NPC houses, biome specific, to keep my NPCs happy. Maybe they can drop, maybe there's some good Calamity only NPC loot. I spent some time again in the sulfuric seas, however I was confused. Really confused at why I was taking so much damage in there, and at this point in time I did not figure out that those bubbles that you see on screen damage you when you go in. I thought they were just background bubbles, but they are not. They will absolutely mess you up. But it was just a simple case of running left and right, swinging my melee weapon, staying out of the water to complete the acid rain event. Nothing too noteworthy here. I'll be honest, at this point of recording the video, guys, I still really struggle in the sulfuric seas. I think I've got all the things I need for it, and I just keep dying, and I do not understand it at all. It is annoying biome. But Calamity's not supposed to be easy, so I not quite ready to do this in hardcore mode, and I went back to making NPC houses. As I said, taking my time to add a little nice touch to things. Shout out all my builders out there. The most slept on weapon, probably. I made a big mistake here by attacking this thing. I had a false sense of security, having absolutely destroyed its first stage in a few hits, and then even its second stage didn't feel too tough to deal with. So I felt relatively confident. Obviously the attacks are doing loads of damage, but I'm equally doing loads of damage to her, so thought I could do it, but unfortunately got bested. I didn't know this at the time. This was a hard mode boss for sure, and as I said, didn't know. So I finally equipped the Shield of Cthulhu, ready for the next boss. And I must say, probably my favourite boss, like looks wise. I think whoever made this mod did an absolutely fabulous job with this boss, and it was time to taking it down. Thankfully, with my thorium armour, I believe I was able to face tank pretty efficiently, and even just melee it down without having to really use much dodging or evasive manoeuvres. So I got a hard fungal clump, which turned out to be... I didn't notice at the time. I ended up carrying this accessory through with me the majority of the run. It was so strong. I don't understand how something so good can come in such an early boss, but I was not complaining because it meant that I was able to take on Brain of Cthulhu. The fungal clump attacks your opponents like a summon and also gives you lifesteal. Look, you can just see it ticking 1 1 1 1 1. It's so good because health regen on this game is one of the hardest things to get. So to have an accessory that gives you that on top of, you know, Band of Regen or something, it was crazy. I did not have to worry about health basically for a good portion of this run. So a meteorite landed, so I went to mine some meteorite so I could get a summon, because I actually don't have a summon right now. I know I've got my accessory summon, but the meteorite staff was needed, but my mining swiftly came to an end after the goblin army started, so I went to my cheese arena and started working on taking it down. The NPCs were spawning inside of my ladders or my stairs, so I had to just quickly make some space there so they stopped spawning in there, and we AFK'd. So looks like I'm making another boss arena here. Yep, Queen Jellyfish. So I believe Queen Jellyfish actually drops a really good melee weapon. This was quite a difficult one to do, but obviously I've got my sucky boy, and and my movement meant that I was able to stay out of the majority of her whirlpools, and ultimately it was able to take her down with my melee projectile weapon. I don't think I even noticed it at the time. I got a new NPC from it, the diver, deep sea diver. So I'm thinking about this right now. I should probably go see if he's got anything to help me in the sulfuric seas. And I went straight into a skeleton. I was struggling quite a lot to hit the hands, but once the hands did go, this fight became quite easy. Again, just relying on my speed and mobility that I got from my items earlier, and it was straight into the dungeons. So Skeleton dropped a bone launch accessory that throws bones on melee attacks, which really helped me clear out the jungle. Really helped me clear out the dungeon. I included that clip there just to show you how good it was, and then spent some time in my practice arena that I made with some dummies, just to make sure that I was utilizing all my all of my accessories properly and making sure I was getting the most damage out of my items. I went to the bottom of the world and made the boss arena for the Wall of Flesh, and also looted some shadow chests. So as you can see here, I'm low-key struggling in regards to Calamity bosses. So I just thought I'd do what I know, and that was do all of the vanilla stuff first, which worked out quite well. Old One's Army, I didn't really include much of the Old One's Army, just know I did it. It's a really boring boss to beat, so level 1 isn't really too much to say anyway. Didn't really drop anything exciting, just a waste of my time. Next up was a thorium boss, which unfortunately I did not notice at the time, but I did not continue the thorium playthrough. However, it didn't stop me at this point taking on Viscount, which was quite an easy boss, to be fair. I was pretty strong for what I am. I feel like it took me so long to get my magic storage system that I actually slept on the fact that I got really stacked with good loot. And was able, just to speed run some of these bosses here. It worked out really well for me, honestly. Viscount down. Sweet, and on to the next boss. Oh no, after doing the Old One's Army, I did see this floating planet in the sky, and it was another one of these bases with... I was feeling more confident this time to go check it out, but ultimately couldn't figure out what it was and ended up just mining in the jungle, where I bumped into my next line of mini-boss, which was a weird one for sure. It was not difficult at all to take down. It doesn't move, it doesn't have any evasive moves, and just took it down. It does have a good summon, but I don't really use sentries, so none of the loot was really used. I found another one of these in the jungle, but again, just not able to figure out what I'm supposed to do with it. And despite looting all the chests and not knowing what any of these items were, I went offline, I think. So while I was doing some stuff off, without recording, I got attacked by this randomly spawning NPC in the Crimson. It was tough to do, but I accidentally did it the correct way by just taking out the brain of it, and ignoring the monsters it summons, and took it down pretty efficiently. So I believe that was my first Crimtane bar, and so I probably use that to upgrade my armor. Right, still not knowing what Calamity bosses were up next. I took on Queen Bee. I didn't end up using any of its loots. However, later on in the game, the wasp gun came in huge when I was stuck, so shouldn't be slept on. And I believe I took this opportunity to feel out Fall of Flesh, maybe, just kind of see if I was strong enough. I went this knowing I'd die, but what I didn't know is I'd die like this. Built the wall so I could run to the right, and then it spawned on the right, meaning that I died horribly. Horribly and sad. Very embarrassing, and that's on the internet now forever. Goose. So, learning from my mistake, I dropped it further in from the right side so that it would actually spawn on the right side, and then I could run across the arena. And it was looking doable. I was feeling good, feeling strong, able to keep good range with my gun. I didn't have any anti-knockback, which kind of messed me up here, and it forced me into some really horrible positions. I honestly can't believe how unlucky I got there. Hey, it's all a learning process. I decided to take it from the left side after expanding my arena a little bit. And despite getting extremely close, I decided that I would see off the last bit of this boss with melee, by going melee, and it was almost a big mistake because I got low. I got very, very low, but it got lower, and just like that, guys, we are in hard mode. Whoop whoop! I don't often mod things, so this was a... I put this down to this just being normal mod shenanigans, didn't think much of it and went to do it again. Oh. But, as I said, two times out of 2, I'm sure that won't happen a third time, right? No, it did. So clearly something was wrong here. So I went into the mod list and uninstalled thorium and other bits and bobs. And we're good. So I did a little jump to celebrate. Yippee. And we were officially in hard mode after being Wall of Flesh 3 times over. I ran right to figure out why my snow pylon wasn't working, and whatever biome this was had corrupted the housing. And at this point, I got summoned to play some Rocket League. So you already know. I didn't include any clips of me playing Rocket League. I just know we won. And it was after that, it was in the snow biome to get Fink's Fur to summon the Deerclops, which was the next boss. Taking the time out to ensure that I had a good boss arena was again worth doing, and I can't recommend it enough, team. Don't be skipping out on your boss arenas. I was able to see off the Deerclops relatively easy. It's one of the hardest mobs or bosses to fight melee, but you already know I jumped down at the end there just to see her off. It is the most DPS I've got, so I built the mushroom overland biome, whatever you call it, but it was a complete waste of time. I don't think I ever actually spoke to the guy in there, and then I spent some time farming Souls of Light, Souls of Flight even, so that I could get some wings. After that, I was in the Hallowed, the Underground Hallowed, I believe, and I was getting resources to build the summon item for the next boss, which was Queen Slime. Queen Slime, which can be quite tough. She shoots loads of projectiles that you need to focus on dodging, but you know, with my items here on screen, I saw it off relatively easily. I believe I'm still using Crimtane armor at this point. Don't quote me on that though. The boomerangs become clutch bit of this segment though. No, it was my wall of flesh weapon, and it's also my queen jellyfish weapon. So queen slime weapon. And we are just farming bosses right now. So Calamity is slightly different from other mods. In order to get the next tier of ores to spawn in the world, you don't destroy demon altars. You have to destroy the mech bosses. So I thought best get those done as soon as possible. They also drop good loot for me to use for the Calamity bosses that are coming up. You see there me trying to get into the healer thing and just phase right through the steps, but I did manage to get it off eventually. And yeah, came in clutch there. I 100% would have died there. Also managed to negate full damage there by grappling onto the ground. Just a few things definitely went right this fight for me in order to see off the one of the twins. And just like that, we're in the next one, which is Skeleton Prime, which is a tough boss. You need to focus down the hand super. I didn't even have my health pops ready when I went, and unfortunately my boomerang is not very good at targeting these hands, but it is still good enough damage, so I wasn't overly fussy with where I was hitting, just as long as I was hitting some damage. You can see it just slowly tick away here. It did take me about 2 years. I actually have a beard now as I'm recording this, but I did get it done. So the second phase almost messed me up, but I'm good. You see, I'm using the wings already to take on these fights. Whoop whoop. And now we went into hell and got some hellstone, drank an obsidian skin potion, mined some hellstone real quick, and it was straight to looting the the new ores that I just got by defeating the mech bosses. He's in the room, guys. He knows what's going on. And with those new ores, I improved my gear, made new weapons, and set myself up to take on the next boss fight, which was here's a clip of me showing off the titanium gun. Absolute beast of a weapon, but it shoots super slow. So that's kind of the trade-off there of doing 400 plus damage. Or it looks like we're going Plantera next. So with those items you saw on screen, Plantera, I'll be honest with you, little bit easier than I thought she was going to be. I definitely took some time to make a proper boss arena, which, as you know, is completely key to these things, and just took it down quite easily. I'm using another throwing weapon, not really using any other weapons. It also makes a cool noise when you get a combo off, so it's the small things with this game sometimes, And just like that, we are 90% through pre-hard mode and 10% through hard mode. So we are absolutely cooking. I found this weird chest spawn, which is pretty, so I'm not gonna shit on it. But I also bumped into this huge Plantera room, and I believe there were 7 in total, oversized Plantera bulbs. So I thought, oh well, I must get a prize, right, for defeating all 7. No, I didn't. My only prize was all the loot I got for killing them, which, to be fair, was pretty good. And I got a new melee weapon, which shoots petals. On top of the bone hand accessory that I had, it was doing crazy amounts of damage as I was going through the dungeon. And it was time to see off the golem. So I thought best utilise my titanium rifle here, keep my distance, and shoot from afar. However, I kept too much of a distance and the golem despawned. So note to self, guys, even in its own home, it will still despawn, which is something I did not know. So there you go. Having not wanting to go to the surface to get more platforms, I just made like a 1x1 kind of block platform, which worked good enough and gave me less maneuverability potential. but I was feeling strong, so not really too worried. I did go back to using my titanium rifle while dodging projectiles from the head. It was a little bit mechanical. I think I left so much of this fight in here because I was proud of how well I took it on. And we saw it off. It's just like that. Weirdly enough, I was taking more damage at the bottom of that arena than I was at the top, to the point where I just had to TP out of there. And as I got to the top, I triggered the Martian Madness event, which would hopefully spawn some UFOs. They will drop some keys so that I can have a mount that permanently flies, which is super strong. I definitely felt strong enough too. However, a few dodgy movements, you know, going up when I should have gone down or whatever, would have taken me out of this fight. And I think I do get another clutch healer save here. Yes, sir. Thanks, Jenna. Big up, Nurse Jenna. Absolute go of the playthrough. And took down my first saucer. He said so confidently. There she goes. Oh, surely. Doesn't look like I got it in that drop, but did get it in my second. Maybe. Yes, must have done. And with that, I was feeling strong, and it was on to the cultists. So I've just seen I'm using wings still. Wings were a bit redundant here, as I have a permanent mount. I could have traded that for some more movement speed or some more defense, but it didn't matter too much because I was hitting the lunatic cultist like a wet sack of shit. Excuse my language, but we would have been here in one whole day IRL time, not in game time, getting this bad boy down. On top of that, I was hitting all of the wrong summons, or whatever you call it. I was hitting the wrong cultists and was spawning the dragon, and and I died. I know I preemptively said that, but it's pretty clear. I mean, I wasn't even able to get it down to half HP, and it was clear I needed to change my build up a little bit. Ultimately, I needed something that was able to like act like a heat-seeking missile. I didn't want to aim. I needed something that would aim for me so that I could purely focus on dodging. So I went for a wasp gun magic build to take down my next few bosses, which actually worked out super good. It was a really fun and easy build, just to get stupid amounts of damage while exploring the dungeon again, probably for the extra hard mode drops. I found this huge boss arena, which as of the point of the recording, I still don't know what it's used for, but it looks sick, and I'm looking forward to fighting whatever it is I need to fight in there. And this is me just kind of concocting my mage build. So I've got the wings, infinite mana potions, my wasp gun upgrade, and an item that just like slowly releases spores around me that will deal damage to enemies when they walk into it. And here I just thought I'd try out my new build on one of the Calamity bosses before trying it again on the cultist, and you can just see it is absolutely melting the Calamity boss. And it did drop something, so the shards that were around it on its first stage, you got that the ability to have those basically, which is quite a fun item, which I believe I did use. Oh, maybe not straight away. I gave the Astrium Aeris a go. Ultimately completely underestimated the fact that this boy can jump. This boy jumps super high, and despite the fact that I knew it jumped super high, I was still surprised by it every single time it happened. So ultimately it was a case of me just not learning my lessons there. But similarly, even if I had better positioning there, I just didn't have the damage, even with the wasp gun, to deal with that just yet. So I went to the seas, and with my UFO mount, I went for Duke Fishron. Duke Fishron, in my opinion, one of the hardest Terraria bosses in the game. Harder than Empress of Light, harder than Moonlord, but ultimately I think it's more because the items that you have for Duke Fishron are normally not as good as the items that you'll take to Empress of Light fight or the Moonlord fight, so I think that's probably there. But eventually do whittle this guy down. It's not too difficult to stay out of the way of his waterfalls or his water tornadoes. Water tornadoes. There's definitely a better word for that. I can't think of it right now. I almost got stuck in the ocean there, but you know, with these items which I'm showing off again on screen, did see it off quite easily. Again, I'm using fairy wings now, while in the UFO mount, which is a bit of a waste, but you know, hindsight's 2020. It's easy to commentate from the sidelines, Goosey. And Duke Fishron actually drops a super strong melee weapon for me. It's a melee projectile, which also latches onto enemies. So again, it's similar to the wasp gun in the sense that I don't have to try so hard with my aiming, and I can just let the item do all the hard work in regards to that. Oh, that's my alarm. It is 11:30 at night, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't oversleeping. Kappa. Here's me just kind of figuring out my drops there from the Duke Fishron fight. I am showing here I'm using fairy wings. Doesn't look like I actually am. Probably using something to help with my defense. And I was taking on Astrium Deus, which I didn't realise splits into two when it's on its second half. So I got pleasantly surprised by that, as it also resets its health as well, so it disappears off the map and comes back as 2 with full HP. It was crazy, and I really struggled. At this point of recording, I've still not got this guy yet. Really tough. Here, showing off again. I've not once I made this like magic build, it was too strong to not keep using for the moment. Especially as the whole reason I made this build in the first place was to fight the cultist, and we are finally doing it with this build. So, with some Duke Fishron drops and the wasp gun and my accessories I showed on screen, we did a much better job. Yeah. So even though the bees did eliminate my well, didn't completely eliminate, but it did help in regards to not hitting the wrong summon. It was possible. It was possible. You can see here I get super close to dying, but I knew it was possible. I just need to stop that fucking dragon spawning, and it would have been fine. And I knew it would have been fine, so I waited till the next night and I took it on again. Again, not really thinking much where I'm aiming or if I'm hitting the right cultist, just relying on the wasp gun to do all the hard work there. So I've got an ancient manipulator there for any late game crafting items, which I probably did use, but I couldn't tell you for what I am. And here I'm just showing off a clip of one of the cool guns that I got from that I was able to craft. And we were on to the pillars. So clearly I'm still stuck on any Calamity boss, and I just thought best to see off Moonlord while we're here. Worry about the Calamity bosses another time. I didn't really have too much of an issue here. I mean, I did die a bunch, which I won't include, but with the pillars it's very forgiving in the sense that you can die as much as you want. They will stay the same and they will not reset, so yeah. Bit cheap really, but I mean I wouldn't really know how else you do the pillars. I must say I had a definite false sense of confidence with my UFO mount, seeing as this was similar items to how I completed Terraria my first ever playthrough. However, Moonlord is slightly faster and slightly stronger, and I definitely struggled to keep out of reach of his lifesteal tongue, and I was completely unable to dodge the laser. And if you can't dodge the laser, you cannot beat Moonlord. So I sadly just worked on some fishing quests by spawning a bunch of water near all my NPC housings, but ultimately I didn't really end up seeing this off because the fishing quests are super boring, and I was just more, I think I was doing this while also pulling up Calamity YouTube tutorials. Okay, don't hate me, alright. It was tough times. Desperate times are calling for desperate measures here, and I resorted to the old YouTube. So, with a complete change up with my magic build, I went back to kind of face tanking melee, with some of the items I saw on screen, and it did help me see off a few of the Calamity bosses and some of the wave events like the Frost Moon and the Pumpkin Moon event. However, while I was purifying my world, I should say, I accidentally summoned the Empress of Light. And do you know what, team? With a bit more preparation for it, I think I would have been fine. But ultimately, died horribly, and yeah, it's on the internet now forever. So with my new and improved armor and weapons, utilities, attributes, I took on the Astrius, big crab guy anyway, and it was tough. It got me down to like 3 HP multiple times in the fight. Ultimately though, I was a big poos and just stayed out of its view and dodged its projectiles and relied on my missile-seeking melee weapon to take her down. And while doing the fishing quest, which I mentioned earlier, I thought I'd give this boss another try, seeing as it was so easy earlier, and now I've got a mount so I can actually dodge her abilities a little better. It was very easy. Athena really didn't put up much of a fight at all. The projectiles were easy to dodge. The only thing is she runs away about halfway through, and I thought, wow, that was easy. Oh, she goes in the water and then she heals up. Wow, what a fun gimmick, I thought to myself. But no, that was all part of a ritual to summon the Leviathan. You're just going to have to take that one. Which launched huge meatballs at the character, which are super hard to dodge. At this point in time, I wasn't utilising leaving my UFO mount to drop faster, which I wish I had done. But ultimately, I was able to deal with it until Athena spawned back in for like its third stage, and I did find that trying to dodge meatballs while also dealing with Athena was too much to handle. However, I did feel confident in taking it down, or not confident enough though, because I went on to the next Calamity boss, the Brimstone Elemental, which, yeah, really wasn't too difficult. I was able to face tank her projectiles quite efficiently and just move out of her way just by going left and right. I tried using her summon that she dropped, but ultimately it was a bit of a weak experience. Well, I did the Moon Lord? No, that is the Old One's army, I believe. But I cheesed it. I cheesed the army by putting down a half slab, hammering it a little bit, and then replacing it with another half slab. And for some reason that like glitches out. Anyway, I cheesed it basically. That's all you need to know. And I was on to the Calamitous Stone. The summon buff there that you see was one of my favourite items of the game. It means that every time my summon hits an enemy that I'll get a random buff from it, which I quite enjoy, just randomly getting extra health somewhere or randomly getting movement speed. It was quite big. I made the mistake here of trying to attack the boss while it was in this stage, which I didn't realise was just a Binding of Isaac game, and I just needed to focus on dodging, and it had nothing to do with attacking. Did I say Binding of Isaac? I meant Undertale. Shout out Hermione. And we are into its final stage again, which is just dodge, duck, diving and weaving. Really not too tough in the old UFO thing. If I was just relying on wings right now, I'd probably be in a bit of a pickle, but thankfully I wasn't. I didn't have the best weapon right here to deal with this, but I did just craft myself this weapon and I really wanted to use it, so unfortunately now we've got a few wave events to do, the Pumpkin Moon and the Frost Moon event, and I just cheesed it, boys. You do this for like 3 in-game days on top of that, because 3 days, because one of them was a solar eclipse as well. I was losing my head, man. Such an incredibly boring day. If you're seeing this video, then I didn't make it. I put about 40 hours into a Thorium playthrough where the VOD didn't get saved by Twitch, so I had to play Terraria again from the beginning, But seeing as I completed Thorium, I thought I'd give Calamity a try. Calamity was really difficult. Long story short, I sunk way too many hours into playing Terraria. I want to start playing Dota again. I want to grind some Rocket League. I don't want to spend any more time playing Terraria. Okay, so it beat me. It beat me. And I'm not motivated enough to see it off when potentially, despite all the work and effort I put into this video, it's probably going to be seen by like tens of people. But if those tens of people want to see me finish this video and see me finish off Calamity, put it in the comments, like the video. I'll know by how many views, etc. this gets, whether or not I'll see it off. Yeah, judge me for it. Go fuck yourselves, give it a try yourselves, and then come back to me. And until the next one, team, peace.